Hey, hey, hey. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Sunday Evening Trucking Talk Live. We're running a few minutes behind. For that, I apologize. It's been a long day today. It has been a long day today. But welcome in, everybody. Glad to see you. Glad you are here to join us on another beautiful Sunday night where we talk about trucking. Welcome in. I see everybody talking. Keedy, Josh, how are you? It has been a while. Guys, I literally just scarfed down 2 slices of pizza. I literally walked in the door, ate 2 slices of pizza, got everything set up best I could. It's not even how I wanted it, and just jumped down here to spend the evening with you guys. Hope everybody is well. It has been a crazy week for me. We are using the new microphone, so hopefully that is going okay as well. Hopper, welcome in. Judd, Tim, good to see you. Good to see a lot of my Twitch folks in here. Jerry, how are you? Kenworth always sneaking in the house on Sunday nights. Good to see you. Greg is up in the wintry Northwest. Actually, it's probably getting a little better, though. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? It is good to see you guys. It is. I always represent the Cubbies. Eric, you are more than welcome to jump in at any time that you feel the need to into the Discord, into the general voice chat. All right, whenever you are ready for that. Yes, I am. Most of you know I run DoorDash and Uber Eats. I was running DoorDash tonight and got hung up at Walmart for 2 hours, just like you truckers get hung up at Walmart. DoorDash driver today, 2 hours at Walmart. Picked up $40 detention pay from DoorDash for it, or from Walmart for it. So it got me running a little bit late, and then I got greedy, and they sent me a really good order right after that. I had to take it too. So, Quentin, how are you? Tim, that's what I had. I had 2 slices of pretzel crust pizza when I walked in the door. I'm going to have at least 1 more before this night is over. So I tried to hurry. I tried to do the best I could. It is what it is. I tried. All right, so what's going on in the world of trucking this week, guys? I will tell you, I'm just going to be upfront with you. I have not done my homework. We left out of here last week discussing that Bags had homework to get accomplished this week. I did not get the homework accomplished. Because I had a massive, huge week over on Twitch this week. And so it's kind of kept me hung up. Jenna, how are you, darling? Good to see you. Good to see Jenna and our driver lineup is representing. So, good to see you guys. Glad you're here. All right, so last week we talked about discussing the whole, for lack of a better term, basically the AB5, right? The federal AB5. So, we're going to kind of do this on the fly. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. High gas prices. Yeah, we can talk about high gas prices. They're high everywhere. This is way back from February 7th. From the ABC, independent contractor status. I've already read through this once in my life. It has been a month and a half. So, I will have to go back. I don't really see, it doesn't really say. Basically what it says is it really is not going to make it through the Senate. All right, made it through the House. They're saying we'll make it through the Senate. But what does the bill actually mean if it does pass, right? What does it actually mean if it does pass? Wow. It's a special night when Snow joins us on YouTube. YouTube is not Snow's favorite. So it is good to see you. Correct. Yeah. So guys, I would not expect it to pass. Let's just be honest. If it does, some of the companies will have to change the way that they run business, right? You're going to see companies have to become freight companies instead of trucking companies. All right? Sort of like Landstar. If you guys don't know this, Landstar is not a trucking company. Landstar is a freight company. They are a broker. All right? That's what they are. Landstar is a freight company. They're a broker. So that's what you're going to see a lot of companies have to go to. Yeah. Here you go, Kenworth. The Harvicks are also in the house. Welcome in. I missed that. Guys, I'm going to miss a lot of the chat because I have a bunch of things going on in front of me right now. I have 2 monitors going, all kinds of stuff on both of them. But I want to make sure we get everything in. Expands unfair labor practice, employee meetings, blah, blah, blah. Basically what I read, beer. Breaking my heart, Jenna. Breaking my heart. Basically what I read was this. A company cannot have contractors doing the same jobs they pay employees for. Okay? That's what it boils down to. Right? They cannot have contractors doing the same jobs they have employees for, which is considered their line of business. So a trucking company cannot have company drivers be a trucking company and have independent contractors running freight. All right? If that makes sense to you guys. I'm trying to bust it down as simple as I possibly can. But basically, as a business owner, I can't hire you, make you an employee, and then hire Steve. We'll just call this, Mike, we'll call the door Steve. I can't hire you as an employee and then contract Steve to do the exact same job you're doing. Okay? That's basically how this bill will affect truck drivers. All right? There's a lot more to it for the company side of it. But if you want to talk about what's going to affect the truck drivers themselves, that's it. We can hear you. I hear you tapping. That's how it's going to affect you as the truck driver. Let me. It already is open. Okay, I wanted to make sure this was open for you because a lot of times I have push to talk on that. So you might want to mute the YouTube stream, so you're not hearing it back and forth, echoing basically. But yeah, so my understanding is, from the way I read it, is you're not going to be able to own a company, pay someone to be a company employee, and hire a contractor to do the exact same job they're doing. Okay, that's going to end if it was to pass. I don't think it'll pass myself. So what's that mean for trucking companies? It means all your major trucking companies, right? Prime, FFE, KLM, CR England, Swift, or Knight Swift, I guess you can call them now. Knight Swift, CRST. Right, TMC, all these big guys, all right, who have USA Truck is another one, just hits me off the top of my head. All these truck companies that have leasing programs, Stevens is another one. They're not going to be allowed to do that no more. They're either going to have company drivers or they're going to have lease drivers, all right? So I think what you would see in like Prime's case, I think you would have Prime Inc. continue to be a company with company drivers, and I think you would see a different company bloom and develop and grow with a new name, something close to Prime Inc. And it would specifically be a company just for lease drivers. So there's ways around this. It might be under some umbrella, but there's ways around it, I'm sure. Eric, how are you tonight?
Hey man, sorry, I have a mute button on my microphone, so I'm trying to get used to that. Okay, I should be good to go now. I'm doing great, man. We've been home since yesterday, so I just did 14 hours off duty in the bed, off duty shower at both ends of that.
Literally at home, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty nice, isn't it? That's pretty nice stuff. So yeah. The AB5, have you read it?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, did what I say sound anything close to what you read?
Absolutely, and Prime, which usually on these kinds of issues, Prime comes into it after it's a problem.
Correct. Yeah.
In this case, Prime actually did a live on Friday where they had their chief general counsel.
Wow.
Come out and basically call for people to take action. You know, they took a public position against it and explained it in more of a legal view, but the same way that you just explained it in layman's terms.
Yes.
They gave a more legal, but the same thing. Yeah, it's I think it's a disaster if it were to pass, and it already came out of the House, unfortunately, with flying colors. And
yeah, I
the
know.
president said he'll sign it, so it, you know, we'll see. But I think it's horrible.
I think it will be bad for the industry myself. It would definitely reshape the trucking industry. So whether or not it actually passes and makes it through, I don't know. That's something that will have to be seen, you know, in the future.
Yeah, so right now the only way to pass it would be to have 60 votes, but if Democrats use 51 votes to get rid of the filibuster, then they only need 51 votes.
And they have 50 plus the tiebreaker.
Yep.
So, I mean, you guys cannot hear Eric. Hold on, they can't hear you, they're saying. That would be my fault. Hold on, let me kill the music. Let me stop.
I think I have it. Yeah, I got mine cranked up all the way.
Okay, now they should be able to hear you.
Check 1 2.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. I had what it was is because I had the music on, I had my audio output kind of too low because I was trying to keep the music low, not thinking that you were on it as well. Not thinking that you were on it as well. So there we go. It's problem solved, folks. Problem solved. I planned on doing a whole big setup for this tonight, but obviously I literally, you have no idea. I literally walked in my door, ran in here, turned everything on. While it was loading, ran out, scarfed down 2 slices of pizza, and came back down and sat down and turned on the camera. So, there you go.
Okay.
That's that. So yeah, so my understanding is that you can't have employees and contractors doing the same job. So I think it doesn't affect companies like Landstar, I don't think, because they don't have any employee drivers, right? They're a freight company. They broker freight. C.H. Robinson, same way, you know, they broker freight, and you can lease on with them. So I'm not sure it would affect them at all. I mean, do you think something different? Do you read it differently than that?
No, I don't. And you know, this is actually the way that Prime used to be. It used to be, I think they bought another company that had W-2 employees, and that's why they started adding company drivers. But Prime, I believe, used to all be lease trucks. So, but the thing is, it has a profound impact on the trucking industry and the freight industry, but it has a profound impact everywhere. Like almost every realtor is a 1099. You know, people who work on farms are 1099, and they're all doing work that is the core business model of whoever they're contracting with.
Correct.
So you know, I've said it before in YouTube videos. This is like shooting a mosquito with a bazooka. There are, you know, there is a mosquito. Yeah, there's a mosquito, but there's a whole world of us behind that mosquito.
Correct.
That don't want to get hit with this. You know, I don't know how you can take millions and millions of people who conduct economic activity the way that we have since the founding of our country, who are happy with the way we conduct economic activity, and tell us all that we just don't know what's best for us. And someone has to come in and change it for us because we're just not happy. And
that's the part that always amazes me when stuff like this happens is like this all started in California with the Uber thing and Lyft thing. And it amazes me that, yeah, we have government officials who are telling us what we should be doing instead of letting us make our own choices, right? Nobody at Prime is forced to lease a truck, right?
Yeah. You
can be a company driver or you can go work somewhere else. No one's forcing you to be there. Right.
No, and that's the thing with the union deal too. If you want to be with a union, go somewhere where there's unions.
Correct.
I don't want to be in a union. I don't want to pay union dues. I don't need union representation. So, it reminds me of, and I hope that this doesn't get too political, but the Affordable Care Act. I had great insurance until the Affordable Care Act passed. I have not had insurance since. You know, so when there's good ideas and you think, well, gosh, that sounds great. I need to go get, that would be very helpful to me, but you're taking it from somebody else.
Correct.
You know, and that to me is scary.
Yeah, and it's kind of be the same thing. So Kenworth said Prime purchased the old refrigerator company TRL and Donco. That's probably what the W-2s you were talking about.
TR, yeah, I think that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. They purchased them, and that's when they started having company drivers. At that point, so I mean, look, I would see if it happened, I would see Prime just going straight to all lease ops, and it's done.
Yep.
I mean,
I mean, and they already have multiple companies.
Correct.
Like Success Leasing is, I mean, it's owned by Prime, but it's still a separate entity.
Yep.
So.
and you may see, Prime and Wilson are super close, just not company wise, but personally, the owners of the companies are. And you may see something where, if it came down to it, you may see something where you see all the Wilson lease drivers be shipped to Prime, and all the company drivers at Prime be shipped to Wilson. Yeah,
exactly.
That way, no one loses. That way, no one loses their job. I mean, things would be different, but at least everybody would maintain employment.
Yeah, or ironically, the very company drivers, I'm not suggesting Prime company drivers are in this group, but the very company workers who want to unionize, they may lose their position altogether.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So what, again, this is shooting a mosquito with a bazooka. Yep. There's all kinds of collateral damage that you don't foresee when you take a shot like that.
Yeah. And you are dead on it. That's exactly what I'll give you an example of that. Walmart down here in Florida, they were unionizing here in Florida. One of the ones here in Brandon specifically, right here in MLK, had huge voices about unionizing here at the Walmarts. And all of a sudden, that Walmart had plumbing issues. Walmart locked the door for a full year. Gave the employees opportunities to go work other places, spread out all over the area, splitting everybody up. And that store reopened 12 months later. And it put an end to it. These companies know what they're doing, right? They know
absolutely.
They know what they're doing, folks.
They're not just going to take an economic hit, and in any other industry, excuse me, especially like food industry, places like that, and what you're going to see happening even in the freight industry is any cost that companies incur, you're going to see when you go buy a pound of beef at the grocery store. So you may get some short-term gain. You may get a couple more dollars an hour or a couple cents more a mile or whatever it is that you may be seeking if you're in support of this, but you're going to pay that back almost like a tax when you go to the end, into the consumer market.
And more than likely, many folds over.
Yeah, absolutely. The mosquito bazooka reference is, yes, there's a mosquito out there. I don't think anyone denies that. But man, what a rampage of a piece of legislation that literally restructures the entire U.S. economy.
Well, I mean, and there's some bad spot. There's some companies who totally 100% take advantage of the lease thing. All right.
Absolutely.
And there's a couple major trucking companies who do that. All right. Predatory practices. Correct. I just don't feel like Prime falls in that category. Up front what you're getting into. You know exactly what you're paying, and you have the opportunity out there to be successful.
Absolutely, and I know you've said that on YouTube too. Yep. You said that before I was even at Prime, but not once from the moment I applied to go to Prime, not once have I ever been misled about anything.
Correct.
Prime does have probably the most expensive lease in the industry.
It's high.
But they have the revenue to match that, and there's you're just not misled through the whole process. You can get mad about it, you can be surprised by some of it,
but they're going to tell you up front.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to tell you. They're going to tell you up front. And you're going to make what is it, 70%, 72% of the load?
72%, yeah.
You're making 72% of the load. And when they send you a load, you don't have to take it. You can get mad about it and be like, "Oh, that's the shittiest load ever." Trust me, you're going to. If you haven't leased before at Prime, and you're going to get mad at some point and go, "I'm taking that shit." All right, but there, at least you knew up front, hey, the 72% of that load ain't worth a shit. I'm going to find me something else. Find me something else.
And what's proposed to you is your 72%. So you know,
Correct.
if you get
Correct. You don't have to do the math.
18, exactly. If your line haul that's proposed to you is $1,800, that's your cut. So, I mean, they're even transparent on that, and you get your settlement, and it shows the 100%, but it shows it broken into what actually comes to your truck.
Yes, it will actually show you all. It will actually show you everything. Up front. That way you can know. That way you know. It shows you the way bill, doesn't it? Isn't that what it does?
It does.
It
yep.
used to. It used to. I don't know if it still does, but yeah, it used to show you the way bill. Is what it did. So the fact that they're still doing that, that's a good thing. Everyone, don't forget to smash the like button. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate that. I do. So yeah, I think it's a very negative thing, I think, in the industry. There may be some industries. I don't even think trucking is the target of this. I don't think trucking is the target. I think trucking is just unfortunately grouped in because of all the independent lease operators. I honestly think they're going after migrant workers,
yep,
and stuff like that, because that's just, we won't get into all that. But I think that's what this is about. I think this is about putting an end to underpaid positions or jobs in this country. One of them being farm work, right? Picking crops. I mean, that's a huge thing. They're all contractors. They can pay them by the bushel. They can pay them by the box. You know what I mean? And I think they're trying to put an end to that. And I think trucking is just getting stuck in it.
That and I mean, the authors of the legislation are really the big unions.
Yes.
And this doesn't even have to be a pro-union or anti-union conversation, but the reality is the unions, who have hundreds of millions of billions of dollars to lobby and advocate, would they prefer this big 1099 economy be available, or would they prefer every company in the country being just W-2 company employees?
I would hope that they would want the money back in the economy.
Yeah, but unions want, they want companies to be all W-2 employees, because obviously that means that there can be more unions and more union members.
And only
Absolutely,
that, though, they have more control.
So,
they have more control.
Yeah, it's and what's scary here is, and again, it may not pass, but in California, AB5 was, right now, the trucking industry in California has been able to take this to court and successfully get a stop on it, because they've argued that states can't regulate the trucking industry because
Interstate
the
commerce.
freight industry is, it's regulated federally. Interstate commerce, exactly. And they're being very successful in that argument. But in this instance, because it is federal regulation, you can't make that argument, and it would be really hard for the trucking industry to fight for a carve-out.
Correct. Thank you, Heathens, for that super chat. I appreciate that. If it's a national law that goes into effect, you're not going to be able to fight it on a state-to-state level. It's going to have to go to the Supreme Court. They will probably get, I would think that if they do get it passed, you'll immediately see an injunction put in by the Supreme Court to stop implementation of it until it gets to them. I can't think of the word off the top of my head, and it's not an injunction, but you know what I mean. They're going to stop. They're going to put a hold on it.
Yeah,
they're going to put a hold on it. I think they'll put a hold on it until it can actually reach the courts for review. What the courts would do with it at the highest level, I don't know, because there's Jenna, thank you. There's those different, what do they call it, the Railroad and Transportation Act or something from like 1900. There's some like old school fucking laws that dictate interstate commerce, and it's grouped in with railroads. And I'm trying to think of it. See, I want to do my homework today.
Where this really messes us up is that I believe the federal government was set up to accomplish three main things: protect our borders from foreign invasion, protect our rights, and and regulate interstate commerce. But that means keep interstate commerce regular. It doesn't mean come in and build, walls of laws. It means keep it regular. This type of move
It's already
He's the
overregulated.
opposite of that.
It's already overregulated. Let's be honest, guys. I mean, how many of you have dealt with DOT in the last 10 years? You know it's already overregulated, right?
Yeah.
It's already overregulated to the point of, they want to know, they literally want you to go off duty to show that you took a shit. You know what I mean? That's what they do. Thank you, Hopper.
Well, a perfect example is that someone that, well, Hopper, he just dropped a super chat in there, which is
Gypsy
awesome.
too. Thank you, Gypsy.
Let me give you a perfect example that involves Hopper, which, by the way, all you guys listening, if you can throw Bags a couple bucks, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, especially I'll throw you a couple bucks too, because I've been trying to make this one for like a month. But Hopper, this is a perfect example today. I don't know if he wants me to tell the story, but he got within a couple hundred miles. He's on his way to Springfield.
Okay.
Got within, he could have made it to where he would only need to drive 45 more miles to get to Springfield. But he had to shut down and take a 10-hour break. Just to get to Springfield and shut down and probably take 2 or 3 34-hour resets.
Well, I heard he wanted, I know what happened this time, but I heard he wanted to go into Uranus anyway, so, I mean.
That's funny. Is that what he's at?
No, that's where he stopped last time and got fudge.
Oh, okay.
He sent me pictures of fudge from Uranus, so it just felt like the perfect timing to say that. But yeah, okay, go ahead. So he had to stop, and he has to take a 10-hour break when he's literally 30 minutes from being to a safe haven.
Exactly, and where he could take 3 34-hour resets consecutive.
Correct.
And another thing is like the passenger rule. It is absurd. So Jen and I are team truck, but we're a low mile team truck. So yesterday when we were on our way to Springfield, Jenna had finished being in a sleeper berth for about 9 hours.
Okay.
We get up in the morning. I go get the load on my clock. It takes about 1 hour and 50 minutes to get the truck washed, pick the load up, and then I'm driving the 200 miles to Springfield. She cannot legally sit in the front seat for that 200 miles.
Correct.
She has to go back into the sleeper. So the DOT is saying that legally she can only be awake for 3 or 4 hours.
Correct.
It has to go back into sleeper for 8 more hours.
It has to be. Isn't it like a total of 2 hours? It has to be either right before you drive or right after you drive.
Yep. It cannot be more than 2 hours. It doesn't matter if she's not again for. And that she just slept 9 hours. She has to go back into the sleeper for 8 more hours.
Thank you, Johnson. Thank you for that. Look at that, heathens again. Thank you, Johnsons. Thank you, heathens. Keep bringing them beers, Jenna. Nice.
Jenna did just
Hopper wants his
with
money.
a beer. It's
Hopper
amazing.
wants his money back because he didn't like it. He didn't like being told he was up in Uranus, but he was. That's where he was, Uranus, Missouri. Any of you truckers know what we're talking about.
It is up from here.
It's right up the road.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about it. It's it's overregulated. There's no reason why your co-driver has to be in the sleeper that amount of time. All right, I get it if you want to show them 8 hours of sleep before they drive, but
absolutely.
But they should be able to sit up front off duty for 6-7 hours as long as they go back and sleep for 8 hours. As long as they go to sleep for 8, it shouldn't matter how many hours are up front. As long as they have 8 hours in the sleeper before they actually take over the wheel.
And that's another one of those mosquito bazooka references, because basically they're assuming that we all run the truck 1,200 miles a day. Yep. That every truck runs 1,200 miles a day, and that's their way to force each driver to get 8 hours of sleep. But we run our truck 700 or 800 miles a day.
Correct. Yeah, which is, I mean, let's be honest, guys. 700-800 miles is 6 hours driving a piece, right?
Yeah.
It's 12 hours a day behind the wheel. That's what it is. 12 to 14.
360 to 400 each a day is where we like to be.
It is a great way to run a coupled team truck. If you are a couple and you are a team, that is how you should run your truck. All right? You will have a better life, you will have a better marriage, and you can still make money doing it.
Yep.
It's a great way to do it. Jenna's over $10, I'll take a shot. $10, I'll do one too. I got Fireball.
Oh, you better be careful with that, Bags. I did this about a week and a half ago, and these bastards put about $200 in my drink an entire bottle of tequila. But
That's
I think it was like
stuff.
$240 or something.
Wow.
So yeah, if you do it, set rules, $10 minimum, because they'll start putting $20 in there and say, well, that's 4 shots right there. But it is fun. I think it's fun.
I'll end up in the pool tonight. I'll end up in the pool tonight, man. So how's life on the road, man? How's gas out there? I know everybody's talking about it. First thing today when I logged on to chat, I saw one of the first things people said is outrageous gas prices. So what's fuel looking like?
Yeah, fuel is crazy, man. So I know that back when you were driving, you remember paying, I think, 99 cents right there at the Illinois.
Yes, like a dollar, right around $1 for a while. And right when I left, like right after I left, it was under $1. I remember talking to people, and it was under $1.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying you paid 99 cents.
Yeah,
we paid
it was crazy.
87 cents last year in February in Marshall, Illinois. 87. Of course, you have the state taxes.
Correct.
87 cents. We just fueled there 2 days ago, and we paid $2.03, which is really good. But that's a prime surcharge. So here's the thing: it doesn't really hurt us as prime drivers because the fuel surcharge is designed to keep our cost at 99 cents per gallon. But when you go buy groceries and you got to understand that every owner operator, anyone out there who doesn't have that kind of fuel surcharge, that kind of fuel network that Prime has, they're paying 2, 3, 4 times as much for fuel to get that load from point A to point B this year than they were a year ago. And the companies aren't going to eat that cost. It's the consumer who's going to eat that cost.
Sure is.
So I think you're probably going to start seeing a ripple effect here in the next couple of months. It's going to be profoundly awful when you go to the store to buy anything.
Correct. I agree. And it's just going to be, everybody's going to be paying the price. Everybody. So,
and honestly,
because
that's
the thing of it is, it gets passed on, man. And you guys wonder, like he's saying, it's a ripple effect, and you guys are going to pay for it. Like, even people not in trucking don't realize they're going to go to the grocery store and they're going to start seeing the price of canned goods go up, right? And, where they used to pay maybe $1.79 for a can of Campbell's soup is now going to be like $1.91, and they're going to go, why did it go up 11 cents? What's changed in the world? Well, the cost to move it, the cost to produce it and move it, and all that has to be paid by somebody. And Walmart's not going to pay it. Campbell's soup isn't going to pay it. Right? Prime
Even the owner operators are not going to pay it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
owner operators, they may have to pay more in fuel, but they're going to demand more in their line haul.
Correct.
To cover that. They're not just going to take a 30% haircut.
Oh, no, they're not. Of course they're not. And you can't blame them. You know what I mean? You really can't blame them. You really can't blame them for doing that. So it's going to go up, and everybody's going to pay. Every one of us is going to pay the price for it. That's just the way it's going to be. And it's sad and it's true, but that's exactly what's going to happen, guys. That's exactly what's going to happen. And, because what happens is truckers are getting more through fuel surcharge. Have you seen a huge increase in your fuel surcharge? Has it been going up?
Yeah, it has, but it doesn't. I mean, again, prime drivers, we feel it more like a pinch than a punch.
Correct.
Our fuel surcharge just it ebbs and flows, but I tell you, it actually kind of benefits us in some ways. I mean, it seems and I know Johnson's Logic, he's in the chat. He gets really nerd out with this on the fuel thing. But when you're paying more per gallon, sometimes you get more points and things like that. So there's a lot of ways where it's actually benefiting us. And so as long as they keep our cost to 99 cents a gallon, and yes, our fuel surcharge is going up, but still, what it's doing is it's causing a lot of drivers to avoid going certain places. Like you want to go where there's no tolls, because now like Pennsylvania is the most expensive toll state in the country.
Oh wow, has
Well,
it
if your
gone up
fuel
that
costs
much?
are higher,
It was already high. It was already
yeah,
high.
oh
It was
yeah,
already like 10
they
cents
just
a mile to go across fucking 80.
yeah, and they increased it
76.
last year and they increased it this year.
Wow.
So now you have drivers who maybe outside of Prime's network who are looking at things like that. They're not wanting to go out west because fuel is outrageous. Wyoming,
Yep.
Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California. So that's where it's going to be felt first. Is states where drivers are much less willing to go, and they're actually letting their freight lanes be dictated by the fuel cost.
By the fuel cost. Yeah, and that's and when you start doing that, you start having issues. In my opinion, I think when you start letting fuel costs dictate your freight, what you're going to do with freight, I think that's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing at all. Just my opinion.
Yep.
And that shouldn't be the way it is. That should not be the way it is. So, guys, I'm working on something in the background while we're talking, so I'm getting a little distracted.
Yeah, Johnson's Logic says, "Yeah, I'm a fuel nerd."
I'm a fuel nerd.
he gets mad at me when I talk about the way I run my truck.
Why? Wait a minute. What do you mean?
Well, Jen and I. So, Johnson's Logic is what do you call it? What's the word for it, Ross? If you're in there, precision fueling, I think is what they call it. Using the fuel recommendation,
right down to the gallon.
Yeah, right down to the gallon.
Wow. Okay.
Jen and I do not do that.
Neither do I.
Like for Jen and I, a quarter of a tank is the bottom of our tank. Yeah, we just don't want to. We don't want to have to worry about it when we go drop off a load somewhere. To us, our time is valuable. So different people run their trucks in different ways,
Correct.
And so for us, and a lot of drivers will say, well, if you wait and fuel until the fuel with the trip, you'll get more money on this week's settlement. But we don't live week to week. So to us, if we find affordable fuel, we're just going to go ahead and throw that in the truck and not have to worry about it, when we go pick up the next load. It's all a wash, because that means we'll have more money next week. Doesn't mean we may pay a few bucks more every week for fuel. Okay, fine, maybe. But to me, my time is valuable, and I'm willing to pay a few extra bucks a week to have some peace of mind, and to be more efficient with my time.
And that's the way it should
be. If that means fueling up once instead of twice in a day, then I'm going to do that. As long as the fuel's not outrageously expensive and not going to get me too much above $1 a gallon, after the surcharge.
Correct. And you just hope it doesn't. You know what I mean? You just hope that things work out the way they should. Guys, I'm going to make adjustments to the screen. Eric, do you want to come on camera tonight?
I do not have a camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will not make adjustments on the fly.
I
Asked
will
Jennifer
next week.
Something. Other than I asked Jennifer something, and if she sends it to me, I'll get that up here. She just sent it. She just sent it to me.
Yeah, I have a Mac Pro, which is a little trash can looking one, so doesn't have a camera on it. But next week I'll get something hooked up to the computer.
Yeah, I'm just going to change some things out. Is all I'm doing. That's all. So, just working on changing a couple things. We're going to do a couple things.
Well, Jenna also brought me a beer, which is amazing because I didn't even ask for it.
Did she? She brought you a beer too?
She just walked in with a beer and said, "Hey, send me your logo."
That's there you
go. Good exchange.
That's a pretty good night, isn't it? That's a pretty fair trade, in my opinion. It's a pretty fair trade, in my opinion. Oh my goodness! So we have plans. For those that don't know, we're about halfway through the show, so I guess I'll bring this up. For those that don't know, we are gonna get together in July.
Yeah.
And have a little get together. That should be interesting.
Yeah.
He's really quiet.
Well,
he's nervous right now.
I don't think a date's been locked down. I mean, I think it would be safe
Yeah, I
to
didn't
say
say anything
within the
about a date. I didn't say anything about a date, but as far as we know, it's going to be around in July, right?
Yeah, I think within the first 10 days of July. So just so you guys know, Bags, most of you know who Bags is, of course. Anyone who's just joining, Bags is kind of like legend in the prime
I don't know
sphere.
about legend. I don't know about legend, but
So there's a lot of people who want to meet with him, and he kind of had brought it up with Jen and I that he wanted to, potentially come to Springfield, which I thought was a killer idea.
yeah.
So I actually sent them something the other day where we kind of mixed the two words, crazy driver Bags lineup.
I liked it. I liked it.
As a meetup. So yeah, I think, and I want to talk to Ross, Johnson's Logic, Travis Kinley, and a few others I know Long Hump Gypsy is in here, which by the way, congrats Gypsy.
On the upgrade, yes. Big
Yeah, on the
congrats
upgrade. She just got in today.
Yep.
Want to make sure that we can get, as many people that need to be there, because it just would be a really cool. We did this December or January, I want to say, and Ross is of course much younger than most of us,
Yes.
so he taught me a lesson that I can't drink tequila like I used to could. But it was a blast, man. And I know that you've done these before when you drive for Prime. When you get a bunch of like-minded drivers who go through the same struggles, trials, tribulations, we can relate to almost anything that comes out of our mouths when we're in a room together.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. I think you're going to need a bigger room this time. I'm just going to be honest.
I agree.
I think you're going to need a bigger room this time.
So I think it'll be a lot of fun, and you and I and Jenna and a couple others that should be involved in helping should probably get this locked down in the next week or two.
Yeah.
But I think we'll probably want to have an RSVP system, which I can do very easily.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably have to do something like that.
Yeah.
And that way,
you can't just have.
Yeah, we're going to have to lock down a date because you're going to have people who want to make sure they're in Springfield to make sure that doesn't interfere with other home plans and everything else.
Yep. Yep, and that's why I think we're trying to make it at least a couple days from 4th of July, because I know a lot of you, you want to be home with family and stuff. Yeah. So the idea is to try to make it so that you can get back on the road and maybe swing through Springfield, a few days later.
Yeah, that'd probably be good. How long are you home for?
This time, well, we're home for 6 days, but that always becomes 10.
Okay. Well, you said next week you'll have a camera. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. We'll be here next weekend, yeah. We're not leaving before Monday morning.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll definitely we'll definitely do a good setup next week. I will make sure I work on that. And
yeah, I'm building a studio because we're launching our podcast this week. So that's
good stuff. I actually have an individual podcast that just got accepted onto Apple Podcast.
Nice.
Yes. So no one listens to it, but it got accepted. So hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just part of it. I'm going to try this training thing again when I'm going to actually train and not drive until I'm 100% comfortable. Crispy, that is probably the best thing you could possibly do. How are you, Sergeant? This is Sergeant Crispy. He was in the military, obviously, guys. And he is Crispy Leg because he sustained an injury that involved fire on his leg. So there you go. That's Sergeant Crispy.
What a good way to, as the Cubs manager, brace the suck.
Yeah, right. So Crispy is me and Crispy met for dinner once at Fire and Ice, and then we saw each other again for lunch somewhere else down the road. I can't even remember where we were. We were at a truck stop somewhere. It happens every now and then. You just run into people, and so I've been blessed with meeting Crispy, a wonderful man. Thank you for your service, Crispy. I need to get on the road before driver lineup. No luck, Trek. Well, you know what? You don't have. You say according to you have no luck, so you may not make it out before they do. You may not make it out
Well,
before they do.
No Luck Trucking stayed in a hotel in Springfield for about a month waiting on a Peterbilt that finally they just gave up and were given a brand new Peterbilt.
Wow.
So
They just gave
he
him
had
a new one?
VIP status at a motel. Yeah, a brand new one.
Wow.
Couldn't get that shit fixed.
Which hotel? Which hotel?
No Luck, was it Super 8 you guys were in?
Oh, so he wasn't. Okay. So he wasn't at one.
It
of
was
those.
across from the campus, yeah.
Yeah, that one over there. Yeah, I mean that's what I always liked about that hotel. For those of you, because this is truck drivers. One of the realities about truck drivers is most of you smoke or vape. All right, Super 8, you can do that right in your room. You don't have to worry about it. Ain't no worry about going outside.
You can also watch Prime drivers hit the awning.
Yes, dude, that's like the most fun, man. You can see
and crackheads fight.
You can see what trucks are going to be available the following week after they get some body work done to them.
Yeah,
Because I've watched it happen. I watched a truck underneath there knock the whole freaking top off of it.
it's crazy that it happens time and time again. It still happens.
Dude, the best
I think
is,
someone hit it like
the
in
best
November.
is when they stop and then they get stuck. So I was there once. Someone hit it and they stopped instead of going through. They stopped and they got stuck. And they had to. The mechanics had to come from the yard. They had to let all the air out of all the tires, and then very slowly pull it out with a pickup truck from underneath the yard.
Oh, Econo Lodge.
Yeah.
I think it is Econo Lodge.
Is it the Econo Lodge?
That's where
Yeah.
they hit.
Yeah, they hit it all the time, man. It says no trucks, 12.6 or whatever. I think it's 12.6. It says it, or 12.9 or something. It says it right up there. It says it right up there, and everybody still manages to hit it every single week.
It's crazy this still happens. You know, last week I think someone went down. What's the old road that goes into Prime that trucks aren't supposed to?
Yeah. I know
Someone went down that road, and then a few days ago there was an Amazon Prime truck that tried to go into the terminal. He looked up Prime on Google Maps, and
he tried to get into that front gate.
Yeah, just assumed that
Wow.
Google Maps says Prime's here, so he just rolled up and
You would think
like,
as a
hey,
truck driver he'd know better than that, wouldn't you?
yeah. And that is why Amazon's being sued by Prime.
I know, for the second time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the second time. For the second time. Not to mention that they drive around with big penises on their trailers, but that's a whole other story. I still ain't figured that part out yet. Still ain't figured out who came up with that design and artwork for the trailers.
Yeah, Cody says you don't need a working TV, just open the shades and watch the Battle of Crackheads.
Right.
Dude, Cody, I
Welcome
was
to
parked at
Springfield,
Campus
Missouri.
Inn once and sat there for about 15 minutes and watched two separate bum fights across the street. It was
Mayfair
crazy.
Avenue.
Like within 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's Mayfair Avenue.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, me and Chad almost got into a bum fight in the parking lot, man. Look, we were at the little gas station next to campus. We're right at that little gas station next to campus. Me and Chad Rich, we were parked at campus. We walked to Fire and Ice. We were walking back, and I wanted to get a 6-pack of beer to take back with me to campus because I had a room there. And so I stop and get beer, and we're getting ready to leave, and there's these two bums giving this gal, or three bums giving this gal a hard time because she wouldn't give them $1. And so finally we had enough. You know, we sat there for a minute, and finally we had enough. And Chad just looked at me. He goes, "I'm about to kill him," and he just starts going off on him.
Gold Star.
Yeah, they believe it or not, dude, they started swelling up on us, man. And then Greene County come up behind us, man, just stood behind us, and they backed off real quick and went on their way. So it's amazing what a Greene County officer behind you will do when that situation, because they went on their way. I had a student. So a funny story about what everybody's always wanting stories, right? Trucking stories, student training stories. I got a good one for you. Greg is an older guy. He's a former minister. He's a former pastor. Greg is 70 years old probably now. Is he 70 now? Probably 65, 70 years old. He is a walker, and he used to walk during our pad time from campus to the pad. And I would be like, "Greg, I'm just going to come pick you up." And he's like, "No, I want to walk." He goes, "You don't understand, I do this." And he did, because all through TNT, he'd go walk 10 miles a day. But I was always like, "Man, you don't understand Springfield." So one morning he's late to the pad. This is like a 4 a.m. pad time, and he's late. And I said, what happened? You oversleep or something? Did you not take your Geritol? Giving him a hard time. He goes, dude, he's like, Bags, you don't understand what happened. I go, what happened? He goes, he's walking down the main road that Prime's on, whatever that is, Kenworth Prime and all that. You know what I mean? Walmart, whatever that main road is right there. He's walking down that road, and two guys approached him at 3:30 in the morning and wanted money from him. And he told them no. And they proceeded to try to rob him. And a local police officer just happened to be coming down the street at that time and stopped before anything got too crazy and turned his lights on and asked Greg. He said, hey, where you going? Is everything okay? And Greg said, no, I'm just trying to go to Prime. I'm a student there. I got my trainers waiting on me. I'm just trying to get to do my pad time. He said, these guys are harassing me. I don't know what's going on. They're wanting money. Now they're asking for my watch. And the cop just told me, he goes, you keep walking. I'm going to take care of this. And that was, but it scared the shit out of Greg that morning. It scared the crap out of him that morning. After that, there was no more walking to pad time at 4 in the morning. He was like, Bags, come pick me up. I want to ride. Come pick me up. It's Kearney. Yeah, it was on Kearney.
There's a reason you need a card or a truck to get through that gate.
Yeah.
Springfield has some nice areas. Where Prime is not that.
No, it's not. No, Prime is not located in a nice area of Springfield. It's not. Neither is the Walmart or the Campus Inn.
Yeah.
I used to have no problem. I would do it today. I would walk from campus to Walmart to Fire Nice, to Applebee's, or to the one across the restaurant bar across the street on the other side of that road from Walmart and Applebee's. There's a really nice restaurant there. That a couple that I met at Prime took me there for dinner one night. But other than that, I would not walk. I would not walk no further than that. None.
Yeah.
When we meeting up, Eric and Jenna? Oh, Cody, I don't know. That's up to you guys. That's up to them.
We're headed to Campus Inn tomorrow. I'm going to drive my truck over there. I got to take my truck to Prime. So we'll be over at Prime for probably 5 or 6 hours tomorrow.
Okay. So you'll be doing hanging out over there. So if you guys want to meet them, there you go. I'm going to send them all your way. You guys are becoming a little known over there.
Man, we had the most bizarre situation, not yesterday, but the night before. I know you've experienced this, and Ross has experienced it. When you get to a certain point on YouTube, Prime drivers coming up and talking to us at truck stops and all that is common. So what happened Friday night is an employee at Hershey in Edwardsville who was running the gate. The guard said, you look familiar. And I said, well, we come here a lot. And he goes, no, how's Remy? He asked me about my dog.
He watches you on YouTube.
He's actually coming to Prime.
Yep.
He went and took his CDL permit test and everything. So he had just binged all of our videos over a week or two. And that was the first time that a customer, because Prime drivers knowing you, that's one thing, but a customer at Hershey knowing the name of your dog, that's weird.
Well, I told you, I think the weirdest one I ever had was walking out of, I was in New York with a student. I was in New York with the last student I had. We were in New York and we were walking out and there's just someone sitting on my deer guard. Some dude's just sitting on my deer guard. I'm like, the fuck is this guy doing? And so with that student particularly, because of that situation, I immediately put myself in between me and them and this stranger, because I'm like, I don't know what this fucking guy's capable of. I don't know who this is. And he looked like he hadn't showered in 6 weeks, and I'm like, but then as I got closer, he was like, Bags, you don't know me, but I watch you on YouTube, and I was in your live the other night, and so I figured out who it was real quick. But yeah, it's a weird feeling, man. It's a weird feeling.
What makes it even more weird, in No Luck Trucking, we took his name's Matt. Him and his wife Liz, they team truck. We took them out to dinner, let's say a month or two ago, and he was making this observation that when you're on YouTube, especially as often as Jen and I are, because we do a video every single day, so people kind of have a general summary of what we went through that day. So they know
They know what's
everything
going on.
about us.
Yeah.
They know, but they don't. It's easy. It's easy to lose sight of the fact that we know nothing about you.
Correct.
And that's not meant to be. Don't get me wrong. We love it. We love meeting people who find our story interesting. Love it. Don't ever hesitate to walk up to us. It's awesome, and we like to talk to people as much as possible. But it is strange having people come up like they're your best friends, because they know the struggles you went through during that snowstorm in January. You had that really tough 2 weeks that you couldn't make any money. They know everything, and you know nothing.
Well, it gets easier. I will tell you, it does. It gets easier. You guys will get used to it. Me and Chad used to eat every time we came to town. We go to Fire and Ice and have dinner, and he quit going to dinner with me, and I'm like, Chad, why? Let's go to dinner. He's like, no, I'm not going. I'm like, why? The food's great. He goes, dude, I'm not going to sit there while 20 people walk up to the fucking table and want to have a conversation every day. And I was like, okay, I get it. So we quit going there. We started going other places to have dinner. We'd go to a Chinese restaurant. We'd still eat dinner together, but we'd have to go somewhere else. And then I'd go to Fire and Ice and have a few beers. But yeah, so it gets easier though. It gets easier.
Yeah, well, we usually have people.
Beers. Speaking of beers, do you need another beer?
Look at this. This is great.
No.
Jenna came into Discord just to find out if Eric needed a beer brought to him. I love it. That's why she's here.
I didn't want to get up.
She didn't want to get up.
See.
Now she doesn't have to because you're not ready for a beer.
Yeah, but we have people message us often. That's like it just happened last week. Someone text messaged me and said, "Hey, I think I saw you at Road Ranger," and I didn't want to come say hello or anything, but I just want to tell you I saw you. And I was like, dude, don't ever hesitate.
Oh yeah, come say hello.
Fuel in the truck or something. Yeah. Jen and I had a team couple walk up to us yesterday morning in Pilot up in Edwardsville, and they came up and were asking us about how we run our truck and everything. We love that. Now, we can't sit there and talk for 3 hours, but
YouTube channel.
We love it.
So it says that don't talk to Eric. You end up starting your own YouTube channel. That's what it says. Mike met me in Montana. I remember, Mike. You drove up in your car or truck the morning at like 5 a.m. You came up there, didn't you? If that was you, Mike, I remember you very well. It was like 5 or 6 in the morning. I was getting ready to head out. I had Stephon with me, and we were in the middle of a blizzard that week. So, Mike, I actually remember who you are. Let's see. Come and talk. Just don't be weird. Yes, Cody. That's it. Cody's found the secret. Look, you can almost anybody who does social media, guys. You can approach them. Just don't be weird, man. Be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Just be yourself. Okay, that's all we want. We're ourselves. Like, I'm the same dude. When you see me, guys, when you meet me, I'm the same guy. All right? What you see right now is the same guy you see in person. This is how I am all the time. All right? If you don't believe me, you should go on my Twitch. You'll see. I'm just a regular average dude, So be yourselves. Be yourselves. Thank you, heathens, again. Thank you for that super chat. Wifey material, Jenna's wifey material? I hope so, because Eric's trying to do that. He put a ring on it.
Well, Heathen's Trucking's a baller, just so you know. He buys his underwear at $30 a pop.
$30 a pop.
He does. There was this conversation in Discord today. I was saying that when I was, I don't know how he got on the conversation, and I couldn't afford it, I would pay $140 for a pair of jeans. But now that I'm older and can afford it, I won't pay $1 over $39 for a pair. And he basically just busted out the Prestige and was like, I paid $30 for a pair of boxers.
Oh, wow. He's got the good shit. He gets that shipped in from Rodeo Drive or something, man.
Yeah.
Does it come in like a little lipstick kiss from one of the Kardashians on the on the elastic? That's pretty good.
Story of my life. I discuss underwear prices with
you really cleaned that one up, didn't you?
Let's see. Ben said done for the night. Last spot and rest area outside of Louisville. Epic. Yeah, Ben. Someone probably pulled out as you were pulling in. Let's be honest. This time of night, getting rest area spot around Louisville. Yeah, someone left for probably a 2 a.m. appointment somewhere. And you got lucky. That's probably what happened. It was like meeting a movie star. Now, Mike, I don't know about all that. I don't know about meeting a movie star. I'm just me, man. I'm just me. Trust me. I'm just a regular guy. I'm pretty sure I saw a driver line up when his truck was being a pain and we were dropping it at the shop. Probably, Tasha. You probably did. They spent a lot of time in the shop recently with that Peterbilt, unfortunately. Please approach me. Don't stare at me.
Funny thing is, we actually saw your truck, Bags, at Prime once, but I was the guy going, I don't want to be weird. I'm not going to approach him. I don't want to be weird.
No, you could have approached, dude. Look, I actually enjoyed it because I enjoy sharing my story. I enjoyed growing my YouTube channel when I was at Prime, and so I always tried to pride myself with any time anybody approached me, I'm Prime property. Like, I'm Prime property. I didn't care how people acted. If they wanted to approach me, just approach me. You know what I mean? And I try to do it to other people. I mean, Trucker Nene, if I remember the story, Trucker Nene's, she's eating lunch in the cafeteria. She's hiding. She, like, has her hat pulled all the way down. Like, you couldn't even see who she was. And I kind of walked up to her table, and I go, hey. And she looks at me, and I go, why are you hiding? And she started giggling, went back to looking down and eating her food. 2 days later, she was live, and I wrote down there. I said, "Well, I saw you hiding under that hat the other night, and the other day." And she goes, "Holy shit, that was you!" In her live, she didn't realize it was me because she was hiding underneath her hat so much. So, but I tried not to do that. I tried not to hide when I was at Prime. I wanted to meet everybody.
Essential man.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I'm afraid to ask. I just go, Commando. Essential man. Shay saves you $30 a pop, man. Saves you $30 a pop, Essential man. No problem about it. Just go Commando and you're good. Boom. Louisville sucks, period.
If you're going Commando, you definitely want to be Peterbilt, not a freight shaker.
Yeah. Get that thing shook all over. Get it shook all over, brother. That's good shit, man. That is good.
Heathens.
We gotta figure out a good topic for next week if you're gonna be home. Something we can grind into. I think that would be good.
Well, if it's trucking related, and I'm doing my first podcast on this topic too, so it'll be really fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Is the whole consumer versus producer states and freight lanes.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's do that next week.
Because there's so many new drivers,
Yep.
that, I mean, with Prime, you only have so much control. You can only say no.
Yes.
But it's helpful to understand that.
Oh,
I mean, you're in Florida, so you know that very well.
Makes a huge difference in whether or not you make a net loss or profit at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Knowing your freight lanes, knowing where to go, knowing where you shouldn't go, knowing, hey, I shouldn't go there, but it's paying this, so that makes it okay because I'm going to have to drive 300 miles back out, but I'm making up for it here. All of that should come into play on when you're choosing loads. Your freight lanes have so much to do with that.
Yeah, and that's relevant for everyone outside of Prime too. That's not a Prime specific.
No, that's just trucking.
There are producing states and there are consuming states.
Yeah.
Some are both.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get into that next week. Any Prime news going on?
Prime news, not really.
Not really. Have you started seeing the 2022s yet?
Not yet. We are the 16th 2022 that'll be arriving this year. I saw Prime Trucker Rob, I think, is one of the first 2 or 3. I think he's getting a Peterbilt. He might be getting a Freightliner. I'm not sure. He gets his in the end of May. So you'll start seeing them show up in June.
Yep.
And then ours will be the first week of July. And we actually got a call from leasing the other day because you can no longer order them with a black grill. So they refunded us $500 and then told us about some other changes coming, but they confirmed it would be a 22 and that we were the 16th 22 that was going to be coming into the Prime fleet.
That sounds like a lot of bottled tequila. That sounds like lots of bottles of tequila. $500. Hey, you guys are going to have a good week at home.
Well,
I may have just brought him home one with beer that he didn't ask for.
Well, Bags, combined between Jenna, myself, and Ross, Johnson's Logic, we spent $1,000 at Oasis in January.
Wow. You all crushed it. You guys
That's
crushed
after
it.
that's after No Hippie paid the first $500 and walked out.
Yeah, he didn't even no hippie truck and transportation. He didn't even say anything. He just kind of mic dropped. He walked up there, paid the first tab, and walked out. And
Didn't
say
even
anything.
tell nobody.
Didn't tell anybody. Nope. He didn't even say goodbye to anybody. He just dropped
Wow.
the mic
He's
and
a good guy.
walked out.
I met
He
him.
is.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he does stuff like that all the time, man. Sometimes he'll go into the Prime store and just buy like $300 or $400 worth of shit and just walk out into the lot and hand it out to people
Just go out and
for
give
no
it away
reason
to
at all.
students.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just a good person, man. Just a good person. Have you heard any feedback from anybody yet about the training program being dropped back down to 30,000 miles?
I think it's overwhelmingly a positive response. I think it has had an immediate positive impact on the number of trainers available. Because, first of all, there's just the simple math of it.
Yes.
Is that when trainers only have to have a student for 30,000 miles, obviously there's more trainers available more frequently. But also, I knew a lot of trainers that just weren't, 50,000 was just too much for them.
It was too much for me.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember when you were training after 30,000 miles, sometimes you'd go solo for 3 or 4 weeks just
Yes.
to try and, nothing against your students.
Yep.
I think you had great students.
Just mellow out.
But
just mellow
yeah,
me
you
out.
just gotta-
you know?
just got to clear the mechanism.
Yep.
And I think a lot of trainers are starting to come back into the fold. And from my understanding, and Ross, you could clarify, I think there are more students now coming into the program. When I came to Prime, there was 108 students in my class.
Yep. Well, that's why they dropped the mileage. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. They dropped the mileage requirement so they could get more students in the door, because now your trainers can do two in the time it took to do one, right? Because you know, I mean, it was 50,000, but it was taking 60, 65, 70 before they were upgrading. So yeah, now they can do 2 for 1, and now they can up those classes again. Now that COVID's over, or ending, sort of say, they can. I don't know how many they're bringing in nowadays, but yeah, were they bringing in before, like 17, 18 a week? Is that that was it?
Yeah, and they didn't double up in rooms. They're starting to double up in rooms again.
And like you said, you were a class of 108.
Yeah, and they actually did 2 classes a week when I went through. So there could be 200 students at Campus Inn back then.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yep. The bearded fat man. I like it. Because he's on my pocket and talking through voice chat on Discord. Yes. Why does Eric sound so different? It's because he's coming on Discord. Because we're using Discord. So he's being synthesized different ways. But yeah, so it sounds a little different. But it's clear to me. Hopefully it's clear to you guys. I have my own opinion about all this, though. What, Johnson? On the training, the 30,000, going back to 30? Prime.
Ben.
I was reading that, yeah.
Huh.
Now that, Ben, you talking about when they went up to 50, right? You're talking about when they went up to 50. I'm training myself for the next 8 years. Marie had headaches training.
Well, just so you guys know, I felt 30,000 miles was adequate. Is that adequate for all drivers? Probably not.
No.
But the trainer can keep the student on the truck longer. I think at 20,000 miles, I knew I was not ready. But at 30,000 miles, I was ready to go. So the point is, most drivers, if they have a good trainer, should be ready at 30,000. If they're not, they can stay on the truck longer.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
then
You
there's
can.
me, and I have like how many 100,000 miles under my belt, and I still am not comfortable moving the truck without you in it.
Yeah.
That's
Hey.
why she said yes. I knew
Jenna
there
just
was
has
a
to drive the
reason.
truck.
I knew there was a reason.
Jenna just needs to drive the truck forward safely and fuel efficiently, and she is epic at that.
Jenna's like, Eric just, in her mind, Jenna had like 5 seconds to do this. She had Eric propose and she said, if I say no, I got to back the truck up on my own. Yes, 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 yes. I'm all yours. I am all yours. I'm in.
You're on to me.
She's like, I'm all in on this. I'm all in on this, babe. I'm all in.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take her over to the pad to back bobtail.
Dude, you know how difficult that is? Like, we're laughing about it, but backing bobtail is not easy, guys. When you're used to backing with a trailer, backing bobtail is not an easy feat sometimes. At all.
Yeah, well, Jen and I have never... she brings this up because about a month ago, she took the truck across this shipper in Columbus without me in it for the first time ever. And it's not because we've avoided her driving the truck without me in it. It's just because it's never come up. So for a year, you know, so that was the first time that she had to move the truck, not even a substantial distance, but across this entire property to a parking lot without me in it. And she said it was the most bizarre feeling. It was like she was doing something wrong.
It's like she was breaking the law.
Yeah.
It's like she was breaking the law.
As if she's still a permitted student or something.
Yeah. It's like, well, it could be different. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a different world. It's a different world for people. You know, I mean, that's just reality of it. It really is. It really is. It's a different world. And that's why so many students, you know, when they first leave, they have like anxiety. You know what I mean? They start having anxiety attacks. I remember, I can't think of many. I had like 19 or 20 students, and I'll be honest with you, I think I heard from all of them within the first 48 hours of their first load. You know what I mean?
Well, I called my trainer in the first 48 hours.
Yeah, I think from the time they got that first load picked up at Springfield, I think I heard from every one of them within the first 2 days. You know, with
now,
something
I'll tell you
going
this: the more shitty of a trainer you are.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the less you're likely to hear from them. The less, because they don't ever want to talk to your ass again.
My trainer did not teach me a lot of things. So within the first, week, I'm like, how the hell do I do a comm check?
Yeah, right.
So I think he was probably more apt to. Of course, my trainer was not really a trainer. He was doing a favor for my fleet manager.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he quit training years ago, but my fleet manager called him up to take me his TNT and asked him if he wanted to take me his TNT, and he did. But there were some things that he didn't train me on, so I was a bug in his ear for a couple weeks. Correct. After that.
Do I miss trucking? Marie said, anyone want to know how much I'm making? So never mind. It's a stellar week. Congratulations, Marie, on a stellar week. Bearded said, do I miss trucking? Bearded, I've talked about this a lot. I don't miss the act of trucking. All right? I don't miss the act of trucking. I miss everything I built while I was at Prime via my YouTube and my community and my family that I made there. That's what I miss about trucking. I don't miss the act of actually getting up and getting behind the wheel and dealing with DOT and dealing with shippers and receivers. I don't miss none of that shit. None of it. None of it.
Amen to that.
Sitting down on warm toilet seats because, just have 6 asses on it in the last 18 minutes. I don't miss none of that, all right? I don't miss it at all. But I do miss the community I built, and that's why we brought Trucking Talk back to YouTube, so I can continue to spend time with them. So, let's see. There's the answer to that, though, Bearded. David, how are you? They really should have a window for ones that have experience. It's like a refresher OTR intro. I've driven off, and since 3 years, they wanted me to do 50,000 miles. Jeff, yeah, it's like 2 years out or something, or 2 years out of the last 3 or something. You have to have been on the road, or 3 out of the last 5. You have to have OTR experience, or else they make you go through training again. Yep, I think it's 3 out of 5. I'm not positive though. You'd have to call a recruiter, but it's something like that. Logic said you ain't gonna make that alley dock, so I said I was like, bet. No. nice. With 2 days on the pad, yeah, I literally gave my students 2 days on average on the pad. So like, if I had a Wednesday, scheduled testing day on Monday and Tuesday. We were at the yard Sunday night or Monday morning, and they had Monday and Tuesday to learn it. All right. The reason that made it was easier for me to do that is because the way I ran PSD. The way I ran PSD in my truck is this. My students drove every mile of every day. All right. Unless there was some reason for them not to. But for the most part, my students drove every mile of every day. They did every backing situation, every backing scenario. They did all that during PSD. I kept them out PSD 10 to 14 days. All right. Those 10 to 14 days, some of my students came in with more miles under their belt than some guys in their second or third week of TNT because they literally were driving 500 miles a day. Brown was a great example of that. Brown ended PSD, I want to say, with like 6,200 miles. PSD. That's what he had. So I was able to do 2 days too. I was able to take them out for 2 days and usually get them through the points, the turning points. Eric, did that work for you the same way with your trainer? Did you do all the work on PSD?
My PSD trainer shit himself.
I remember this story. I've heard that story, yo.
And it was a horrible experience. Yeah, I did all the work in PSD, but not for the reasons you just described. For different reasons, but yeah, it was. Anyway, but I will throw it because someone was talking about the alley dock. This is kind of a funny side note for you guys, and I don't know if it's the case for all trainers, but when someone becomes a trainer at Prime, it often is more difficult, because it was for me, for that new trainer going through the trainer course to do the alley dock than it is for you as someone who's never driven a truck to learn the alley dock, because we just want to stick our head out the window and super truck into that spot.
We sure do. You're right. We sure do. That's it.
Having to learn how to use these little reference points, or like, what the F is this? Like, I just want to.
It's tough, man.
Nail it
it's
right
tough.
into that spot. It took me all day to figure out how to do the damn alley dock without sticking my head out the window.
See,
Anyway.
Now, Ben, go ahead, Jenna.
Oh, I was just gonna say I had quite the different struggle during my PSD and TNT phase, because my trainer was great about training me stuff. The problem was there was so much sexual harassment. I mean, he would grab my ass, he would stare at my boobs all day, try to cuddle with me, try to convince me to team shower. It was really uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable
Hey,
for you. You made it rough.
I was transparent with our fleet manager with this, though, in my defense.
That's true. That's probably the best thing you could have done. Okay, so someone said super solo. Ben, yes, I did super solo with a couple students at the end. Once I was super comfortable with them. Jason, if you guys remember Jason, he was not the last student I had. He was the one before that, obviously. Me and him did a lot of super solo. We did 800 miles a day. I had actually like a $6,000 revenue week with him in PSD, plus got my PSD training pay, plus we got back, and he passed second or third try, so I got a little bit of money from him on that. So he was a good student. He was a good student.
No, it looks like Hopper's meaningless 10-hour break is almost over.
Yeah, right. Hopper's free. You have to drive a half hour. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, he's up there in Uranus. So.
Okay, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I'm just putting this together. Gypsy's upgrading right now, right?
Yeah.
Hopper, why are you going to Springfield? Just out of curiosity.
He has to take ACE 2.
Oh, okay. So you have to take ACES 2 on Wednesday. Okay. just checking. Just trying to verify some information there. That's all.
There's some reading between the lines.
Yeah, I'm just double checking, making sure everything was cool. Just making sure everything was cool. I've got to say goodnight. Got to drive soon. Yeah, I bet you do, Hopper. He's gone. He's like, I'm out. Hopper's like, I'm out. Do you think it's better to go company or leave straight out of training? I'll be with a different company, but I trust your advice. Well, Little Pig, let me tell you, I don't know. Here's what I've always told everybody. If you're unsure, go company for a little bit. if you really don't know, right, go company for a little bit and understand what you're getting into completely when you're alone. All right. I've had students who knew exactly what they were getting into when they came out. They never asked me. They just went lease. They just knew. If you have any doubt in your mind, because every lease program is different. There are many lease programs in this country that I wouldn't recommend you get into at all. Okay? There are many companies, and I can do that now because guess what? I'm no longer a truck driver. I no longer have backlash. I no longer have somebody call me in on the carpet, right? So, I don't care. I'm going to give you the honest opinion on it because I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about someone possibly calling in and getting me fired because of a YouTube video. I'm already fired. God damn it, I'm on my own. But there are many lease programs at trucking companies in this country that I would recommend just staying clear of altogether, and just being a company driver, doing your time that you need to do in order to fulfill your contract, and then moving on to a better place. So just keep that in mind. I don't know which company you're with, but that's.
Bags Hopper's clarifying. He needs to get his, and I believe an oil change.
Okay. No. Property.
But I digress.
The worst part is
He's going to get an oil change. Okay.
Hopper, make sure your coolant is topped off.
Yeah, the worst part is your audio cut out. You said he needs to get his blank and his oil changed.
He needs to get his oil changed. I'm sure that's going to happen, Hopper. Okay, so you're with Wilson? Okay, so here's the thing with Wilson. As long as you understand what you're getting into, they have a good program. It's very similar to Prime's. Panda is in it. Panda is being very successful in it. Okay, so that's definitely not one of those stay clear of places. As long as you're comfortable with what you're doing, as long as you know this is what you want to do, you want to be a trucker for, I'd say if you're committing yourself to a minimum of 1 year, okay, in the truck, and you're going to be with Wilson, and you're not going to have to be at your house every 3 weeks, go lease. You will do better. You will do better. Gypsy's dying laughing. Next subject, please, Hopper. Yes, but yeah, you can be very successful at Wilson. Panda's doing it now. Panda's doing it there now. He's doing fine. I'm surprised he's not here tonight, to be honest with you. He would usually step in. Detroit, I saw you sneak in earlier, man. Good to see you. You broke your back with. Hey, that was pretty fun. That was pretty good. That was good. That was good stuff. I liked it. Y'all killing us tonight. It's good. But yeah, so something I decided to do a few weeks ago, guys, is I have started what is going to be probably a 50-page book. Trucker, I don't know what I'm going to name it, but basically it's going to be something like truck. It's going to be in the similarity of Trucking for Dummies, right? It's going to be like Trucking 101 or something. Just a very simple 50-page book that talks about getting into trucking, my experiences, what I went through, what I learned, and any knowledge I can pass on. So that's my goal is to have that out, available, but before we meet in July. So that's the goal. To have that out and available before July. I'm walking away from a career of 30 years. I have 11 until I can retire. I'm committed. Okay. You will do fine then. You will do fine. Evan's running nights. Hasn't been happy about it. Yeah, Panda is not. Evan is Panda. Evan is Panda. He stopped in and saw me today over on Twitch. We were streaming over there. And he stopped in and saw me yesterday. So yesterday I may or may not have drank a bunch of Washington Apple. And Panda and Evan may or may not have came in and did a bunch of tipping and had me twerking again. Seems to be a habit of his.
Is that why you're not drinking tonight?
I was kind of getting concerned that he likes to see me twerk that much, but
he doesn't have a girlfriend.
I know he doesn't. It's scary, isn't it? He's got to have some booty to look at, I guess, and mine's the chosen one. I don't know. I don't know. But no, I'm not drinking, Jenny, because Jenny, you don't understand. I literally got off Twitch, got home, ran in the house, turned everything on, shoved 2 pieces of pizza down my throat while I was pushing buttons to get everything started, and started the camera. Like, I literally just got home. They will. But
That's rough.
my Twitch people will tell you, I was sitting at the gas station a mile and a half from my house at 8:55. It was one of those kind of days. It doesn't usually happen on Sundays. That's why we started 5 minutes late. But yeah, that's what happened. So I was not prepared for tonight. So this went really well for me, considering what my prep was like today. I'm glad
Well,
Eric
that's
was
good
here.
because-
I'm glad
Yeah, I
Eric. I'm
think-
glad y'all were home, because I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do tonight?
Yeah, I came running through the door. And I was like, babe, you're late. Because I was out with Gypsy.
Yeah, I was late too. Cody said, "Oh, Cody wants to be BJ and the Bear. He wants to run around a monkey on his shoulder." Some of you are not old enough to know what BJ and the Bear is. Some of you are, but great trucking TV show. It was one of the few trucking TV shows I remember ever in my lifetime. It was about a truck driver. He had a monkey named Bear. He rode around the truck with him. He's working it. He ain't got no panties on. he's back there. He's back there, part commando in the back. I like it. Hopper
Ross,
push-ups
I-
are good for you.
I have something better to say on the CB than ain't got no panties on, but I'm not gonna say it on here.
Well, I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Jenna, she cracks me up, man. It's the most random. When everything's quiet, she's been driving for 2 or 3 hours. I'm laying back there in a sleeper. I'll hear her go on the CB and say, "Hey boys, how about some red hot free sex at the next exit?" You'll hear these drivers. Wait, what exit? What direction are we talking about? The other day, someone says, "Hold on, I'm at." And all I see is someone's ass sticking out of his pants as he's changing his tire.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, Hopper, he had a chimpanzee. Hopper knows what I'm talking about. Hopper must remember BJ and the Bear. He must remember. Jenna, that's mean. That's so bad.
So it's especially excellent in a city like Atlanta where TV chatter is
Oh, yeah.
at a maximum.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good shit. I like it. That's
Well, and he didn't do it justice. Like, he messed up.
Well, yeah, I
but-
can't do it like that.
Yeah, because I'll be like, "Hey boys, free sex, next exit, red hot, free sex, next exit."
She
Oh,
does.
my
I won't
gosh.
say anything,
She does.
And then I just will let them fight and be like, "Wait, what exit?" And blah blah blah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is
or-
freaking hilarious.
Or if I'm
Shot,
parked at a truck-
shots. Oh,
yeah,
somebody
if
wants
I'm parked
shots.
at a truck stop that's next to
He didn't say any
truck
shot,
wash,
shots. You got a shot you can do? I'll do a shot if you do a shot.
I'll bring him a shot.
Oh,
But if
I
we're
didn't sign up
at-
for this.
Hold on, I'm gonna go get one.
I still got work to do tonight.
I'll be right back.
One shot will be fine.
Ugh.
Brief intermission, everybody. Eric, entertain the people.
Yeah, but anyway, what she was saying is if we're next to a truck stop or a truck wash, she'll say something like hand job included with every wash or something like that.
Free hand job with every $10 purchase.
It gets the chatter going.
I'm sorry, I'm just a troll.
I will. I'll probably buy a bottle if you have your night All right.
Yeah, Ben, it's got to be red hot. It's just.
I do have mine. I do have mine here. It's ready. It's a Jägermeister cup, but it is ready.
Jenna's bringing me one.
Oh, Marie, that would be funny. I bet you it's a lot of fun.
It is. If you got a boring drive going,
Oh
you
yeah,
just
just
want
start
to
to start
pass
some
a
trouble.
few minutes. All right, so I got a
Always get
Shot
Eric to
has been
drink.
delivered.
shot of tequila here.
Do you? You have one? Well, I have Fireball. Cheers, my friend. To friends.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
I gotta make an animated logo tonight for No Luck Trucking. So at this stage, it's probably gonna be a pretty fucked up logo.
Ooh, that was cold Fireball. We keep it on tap here. Ooh, we have a cold tap for Fireball and Jägermeister.
Well, you need to get in the habit of drinking a gallon of water per day for the entire week before you get to Springfield. Especially if Ross is going to be there.
Am I gonna need it?
Speaking of Ross, he wants you to share his favorite CB story of what you did to me when you had me go get pizza at that truck stop.
Oh, I remember this. I think.
Are you talking about in California?
Yes.
When you
I
sent
don't
her
remember
in,
what
and then you
I
told
don't remember what I said.
you told everybody you ordered a hooker or something from
Oh yeah,
Craigslist.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. I even said that it was like I said there was a website. Yeah, Uber Hose or something.
Oh my god.
And I had drivers. Does that really hurt? What's the website? Is there a mobile app? And she had to walk all the way across the parking lot while the CBs were just lit up talking about her.
Yeah, he says all that, and he said, but he paid extra to have me bring a pizza too.
Paid extra for her show up with pizza. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, is Chad Rich? Could he make it to Springfield too, or is that?
I mean, we might be. I'll find out. I'll find out. I'll get with Chad.
I mean,
and
you
find
said
out.
he doesn't really like that kind of thing. So I've never met him.
I'm trying to get him to go. Great guy, man. Great guy. He's lost a bunch of weight too now. Man, he's dropping weight fast. He's got some big things going on in his life, and so maybe by then he'll be wanting to share some of that stuff, some of them stories. But yeah, we can. I will work on that. He doesn't live far from there.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, he just lives north up in Harrisonville by that Flying J.
Oh, that's right, because he did the short Kansas City to Springfield run there for a while.
For KLM. Yep, he was on a dedicated 13 or $12.50 a week, $1,300 a week, dude. One trip a day to the caves
Crazy.
and back. What's it? One trip a day, 5 days a week. If he works Saturday and Sunday, they give him $250 extra each day that he would work on the weekends. Yeah, but it was like $1,250 or $1,300 a week for 5 trips from Kansas City to Springfield. It was one a day.
And that's not a bad drive either. It's
No.
good roads.
Oh,
Good roads
dude, he
up
was
there.
in a day cab, brand spanking new day cab that he took home to his house every night because they don't have a yard there. So he just parked it in his driveway every night, bobtail.
It's awesome.
Yep. He just parked it in his driveway every night, bobtail, man. Walked out in the morning, got in the truck, started it up, had no one to answer to, and because he did the logs, but he never worried about it because of what he did. He just let it do it automatically. He would turn the truck off, it would go on duty, not driving, or whatever, or on duty, not driving, or.
Is there even a way station between here and there?
Yeah. There's one right in
Oh, there is.
Harrisonville.
Okay,
Right in Harrisonville by that Love's.
that's right.
Yep, that's the only one though.
I was gonna say that'd be amazing if you had a run like that with station. Just kind of make your own rules.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't have to. One trip a day. I mean, dude, he would call me sometimes at like 10:30 in the morning, and he'd be like, "I'll be home in 30 minutes. I started my day at 5 o'clock. I'm done. I'm cutting out." Because they'd have him pick up a load at the rail in Kansas City. He would take it to Springfield, drop the trailer. They'd have nothing coming back that day. He would just bobtail to the house. He was done
And
for the
still
day.
get paid the same.
He was on flat salary, man. He was on flat salary. Yep. Gave that up and went back on the road. He gave that up and went back on the road. So it tells you, man, some people are just born to run on the road. Some people are just born to be a trucker, man. And he's one of them. Marley says, "Woof, woof." Marley does not like me. Marie's dog is Marley, and Marley does not like me. I remember Marley very well. Very well.
Dude, ours.
When am I coming to
ours
Springfield?
made-
Marley, I'm coming sometime in July. Okay? Keep watching keep watching our Sundays, our Sunday lives, trucking lives, and we will get a date for you. We will get an exact date for you. If you just keep watching them.
Speaking of Marley, ours gave the worst impression of who Eric and I are as people to somebody who walked up to the truck who watches our channel. Because they were just over it this week.
Yeah, they've been on the road too long, so tell this nice couple that came up to tell us they watch us on YouTube. We're like, oh yeah, our dogs are really friendly and nice. And guy gets up on the step to look inside the truck, and Ruger decides to start a battle with Remy. Like two German Shepherd looking dogs just freaking going at each other.
Just failing at it, just frailing around the truck.
Well, they've been friendly for the last 21 days. So apparently this moment in time is bad time to look at them.
It was just a bad moment.
Yeah, he was just all teeth, just go fuck yourself, get away from me. Like, it was great.
Clifford Martin out of Kansas City, dedicated $1,200 a week minimum, home on weekends. No, Ben, this was home every night. Ben, this was home every night. Kansas, if you lived in Kansas City or Springfield.
Yeah, Ben, if you go on his YouTube channel and go back, he's got videos where he was sitting in the caves in Springfield at 6, 7 in the morning talking about how easy it was.
All right, guys, I need to wrap it up because something has just come up that I need to take care of. So, this was fun. We're going to do it again next week?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
Well,
good for that.
Hey, when's your podcast going out?
Well, I've got to submit it. So I have accounts set up on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff, but you have to submit an episode first. So I'm hoping for, I don't know, probably like the 10th of April.
Okay.
And then I think a week after that. So I know Bags got to go, everybody, but Bags, Travis Kinley, No Luck Trucking, we're all doing a podcast that's going to be on everywhere you get your podcast, starting later this month. So it's called Driver Hub. You can get some details at driverlineup.com/podcast. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to it.
And all of my Sunday night lives, I put on a separate podcast. It's just Crazy Bags, guys.